Hey, this is Sam. Welcome to BNS About Movies. It's like midnight on a Saturday night. I'm watching a alien skateboarding movie. I'm like, I should probably record some podcasts, right? Anyways, let's talk about one of my favorite movies. Let's talk about Cannonball Run from 1981, directed by Hal Needham.
This is the story of an average guy and a beautiful girl.
Hi. Don't tell me your name. I'll just call you Beauty.
You must be a sensitive person. I bet you're a fan of Rod McEwen's.
I try to be.
And his best friend.
I am Captain Chaos. Been a cop long?
And a family doctor.
Police. Come on right here.
And how they all set out one day in an ambulance from New York to California at 150 miles per hour.
California, here we come.
But they aren't the only ones. Because this is the Cannonball Run. America's illegal Grand Prix. And it doesn't matter how you get there. It's who gets there first. Burt Reynolds is the defending champion. On his team, Farrah Fawcett.
Are you one of those volleyballers?
Cannonballs.
Dom DeLuise and Jack Elam. And here comes the competition.
Will you hurry up, you little...
Dean Martin.
We happen to be in a race.
Sammy Davis Jr.
You, Shorty. Where'd you get all that jewelry?
Take a left.
Mel Tillis and Terry Bradshaw. Jackie Chan. And Roger Moore as himself.
I'm Roger Moore. Roger Moore.
All of them. Reckless.
We're in kind of a hurry, so if you could just bless it and then we'll be...
Unscrupulous.
Oh, I gotta bless her. I'm sorry, Father. She's a Zen Buddhist.
Desperate characters. By land. By sea. By air. They'll do anything. Drive anything. Say anything.
It's hard to understand you.
When I called you, I was doing 140 miles an hour.
And stop at nothing.
Normally I drive right around the speed limit.
We all make mistakes, miss. But 160?
To win the Cannonball Run.
Yeah, we're looking good.
Come on, faster!
Cannonball Run. The only movie to get over 200 tickets before it even opens.
That's Cannonball. Perfect.
This movie is based on the 1979 running of a natural cross-country outlaw road race, the Cannonball Baker Seat Shining Sea Memorial Trophy Dash, which began in Connecticut and in California, or, like the 1976 Roger Corman film Cannonball, that tells the exact same story, or the Gumball Rally. That said, screenwriter Brock Yates came up with the actual race while writing for Car and Driver. The race only had one rule. All competitors will drive any vehicle they're choosing over any route. At any speed they judge practical. Between the starting point and destination, the competitor finishing with the lowest elapsed time is the winner. Yates' team was the only participant in the original 1971 race, which was named after Ernest Cannonball Baker, who in 1927 drove across the U.S. in just 60 hours. And I just want to explain how crazy that is because there were just the beginnings of national highway systems. It's not like today. Anyway, Cannonball Run is kind of like my dream idea of what a movie should be. My dreams aren't big. It's a very simple premise, a cross-country race for lots of money, add in actors you love like hijinks ensue. Who are the actors? Who are the players? Well, there's the ambulance. That's J.J. McClure and Victor Prinzi. That's Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise. They're driving a souped-up Dodge Tradesman ambulance, the same vehicle Needham and Yates used in the 1979 race. And Ferrari 308 GTS, that's driven by drunken former race star Jamie Blake, of course Dean Martin, and his gambler friend Morris Fenderbaum, Sammy Davis Jr., both dressed as Catholic priests. And we have the Lamborghini Countach, that's Jill Rivers, Tara Buckman, In My Heart Forever, Night Killer Forever, and Marcy Thatcher, also Adrienne Barbeau, perfect, who are using their looks to get ahead. They very much do. This is pretty much the horror car. As we know, Buckman was in Silent Night, Deadly Night, Extra, 2 Second Encounter, Night Killer, Barbeau, Creep Show, The Fog, Escape from New York, how many more? The Subaru GL4WD, this is the Golden Harvest car. Producers Golden Harvest demanded some Asian stars in the film. They got Jackie Chan in his second American film after The Big Brawl and Michael Hui. The Laguna Monte Carlo, this Hawaiian Tropic NASCAR car, somehow switches makes throughout the film, but has the same two drivers, Pittsburgh Steeler, Terry Bradshaw, number 12 forever, and Mel Tillis. There's an Aston Martin DB5, and that's driven by Roger Moore, who is really James Bond, who is really Seymour Goldfarb Jr., the potentially crazy heir to the Goldfarb Girdle's fortune. There's a Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow. It doesn't seem like the kind of car you'd race, but that's driven by rich oil chic Jamie Farr. There's so much more. Dom DeLuise, also a superhero named Captain Chaos. Farrah Fawcett hooks up with Bert and whatnot. Dr. Van Helsing, Jackie Owen wants to inject everyone with his medicine. Bert Comby gets into a fist fight with bikers led by Peter Fonda. Valerie Perrin shows up as a state trooper. Oh my God, this movie. Stuntman Robert Tessier, Chief Thor from Star Crash, Verdungo from Sword and the Sorcerer, fights Jackie Chan. All of the Bond girls are dubbed just like the real films. And pretty much the entire film is car stunts. Burt Reynolds did this movie for $5 million, a percentage of the profits, and a promise he'd only work for 2 weeks. He later said,
I did that film for all the wrong reasons. I never liked it. I did it to help out a friend of mine, Hal Needham, and I also felt it was immoral to turn down that kind of money. I suppose I sold out so I couldn't really object to what people wrote about me.
This movie is also the reason why seatbelts are required on all sets now. 24-year-old German-American stuntwoman Heidi von Beltz, who was a former championship skier and aspiring actor, was critically injured during the Aston Martin stunt in this. She had no previous stunt driving experience, was behind the wheel of a car with defective steering, clutch, and speedometer. Even worse, it had bald tires. Her vehicle collided head-on with a van and made her quadriplegic. Her personal injury lawsuit exceeded all primary insurance coverage, so the production's excess insurer, Interstate Fire, sued her and her employee, Stuntman Incorporated, claiming the lawsuit was not covered under its policy. After years of court cases, she was awarded $7 million, although the judge later reduced that amount to $3.2 million, just enough to pay her medical and legal bills. She died in 2015. Here's something good out of the movie and inspired Jackie Chan to always include bloopers at the end of the films. Hopefully that makes up the fact that Needham didn't know the difference between different Asian countries, and he cast Jackie Chan as a Japanese person. Also, Jackie Chan's idea of bloopers are to show him fall down a mountain and get a hole in his head versus just Burt Reynolds making people laugh.
What a consummate mess. The problem with the Cannonball Run is that it's all walk-ons and nothing to walk onto. You can see that in that scene. The movie starts out with a possibly semi-interesting premise, not very original, about a coast-to-coast race over interstate highways. They outrun the police, they break the speed limit, they break every other law in the book. We've seen that before, and it could be fun, but the movie doesn't do anything with it. The director is Hal Needham, who directed Burt Reynolds before. He made both of the Smokey and the Bandit movies, and he's also a former stuntman who thinks it's funny to show cars endlessly crashing into one another. Well, I guess I didn't get the joke, or maybe I got the joke in the first 10 minutes, and then I kept waiting for the movie to think of something new. This was really a crashing bore.
Unbelievably bad, and let me tell you, I have never seen a movie. If there's a surefire formula in American movies, it's the car chase cross-country. It always works, until this one. They blow the easiest formula in the history of American movies. Films like Gumball Rally, Grand Theft Auto, Death Race 2000. These are no-brainer films, and they blow this because there's nothing to the characters. It's all crashing, stupid. Burt Reynolds has gotten so powerful in the movie industry, he can get his own director and his own friends as co-stars, and I think they think that anything that they do, anything is funny, and it's not.
I think the end of this movie is kind of symptomatic. They do something that was original about 3 years ago, and now you see it in about every 10th film. They use outtakes at the end of the film. Those are takes that were spoiled. Somebody said the wrong thing.
Right,
or
they crack up.
Forgot his line, they crack up, they laugh. What a party they're having. I think you can see there, and you can see elsewhere in the movie. For Burt Reynolds, this is a party. Now, Reynolds is a talented actor, and he's made a lot of good movies, and maybe he'll make some more good movies. I hope so. But in this one, it's almost as if he got together with Dom DeLuise and Hal Needham and all of his other friends, and they went out on the road, and they had no respect for the audience. They felt, if we have a good time, that's all that counts.
Yeah, and I think that's the real feeling that you get. I feel like I am totally ripped off when I see the picture, that it's their party, they're getting paid the millions, and I'm getting stuck with a $4 ticket that's not worth 50 cents.
It's their party, and we'll cry if we want to, right?
But hey, we talked about Cannonball, and it's kind of a Shaw Brothers movie. Cannonball is from 1976.
Cannonball.
Old Cannonball is going to be passing you like you weren't even there.
Anyone can enter and anything goes in a squealing, smashing outlaw race across America.
I want to make a little bet on the Trans-American Grand Prix. Can you handle $20,000?
Gentlemen know each other, don't you? Mr. Redmond, Mr. Buckman.
I believe we run into each other once or twice.
It's a cross-country demolition derby.
I mean to win this one. And if you so much as come within 100 miles of me, you're going to wind up with my tire tracks right up your...
The winner gets $100,000. The losers keep what's left of their cars.
Nice, huh?
Get me the highway patrol.
We're trying to get a word here with Brad Phillips, organizer of the race. Brad, tell me, your race has been called an outlaw sporting event. Do you have any comment on that?
Well, the police and safety officials around the country get upset because our drivers tend to exceed the speed limits.
One speeding ticket and you're back in prison.
Oh, God, there's trouble.
It's a freeway free-for-all that hits with the impact of a head-on collision.
I thought this car could beat anything on the road.
This car the winner.
Cannonball.
It stars a cast of people that honestly only I would care about. It's made by people just as colorful, a crew of folks who would go on to dominate the film industry after emerging from the Roger Corman Film School. It's everything great about Cannonball Run, but more serious and sometimes ridiculous, sometimes in the same scene. David Carradine is the lead in this. He plays Coy Cannonball Buckman, who's just been released from serving time for the death of a girl while he was driving drunk. He's been entered the illegal LA to New York City Trans-American Grand Prix in the hopes he can get his racing career restarted. That's because Modern Motors has promised a contract to either him or his arch rival, Cade Redmond, Bill McKinney. Meanwhile, Coy has to somehow convince his lover, parole officer Linda Maxwell, Veronica Hamill, to allow him to race. Redmond doesn't have it easy either. His expenses are being paid by Sharma Capri. That's Judy the Ozark Nightingale Canova, who hosted her own national radio show from 1942 to 1955, and her client, country singer Perman Waters, and that's Garrett Graham. Other racers include a pair of young lovers, that's Jim Crandall and Mary Ann, that's Robert Carradine and Belinda Belaski, who take her daddy's Corvette and enter the race. Carrie McMillan, Carl Gottlieb, one of the writers of Jaws, a middle-aged man driving a Chevy Blazer. Butel, who's taken a Lincoln Continental from a kind of little and rich couple and promised to get it to New York City safely. My favorite vehicle. It's a tricked-out van driven by three waitresses, Jenny, who's stunt woman Glenn Rubin, Wendy, Diana Lee Hart from the Giant Spider Invasion, and oh my God, Mary Warnoff. German driver Wolf Messer, who's James Keach. He's in the Tommaso Pantera and Zippo. Archie Hahn, one of the Juicy Fruits from Phantom of Paradise, Coy's best friend. He drives a Pontiac Trans Am just like his buddy. What Coy doesn't know is that his brother Benny, of course Dick Miller had to show up somewhere, has bet that he will win and will do anything to ensure it happens, including killing Messer. Also, Millen has his car and Mistress Louisa Moritz, Myra from Death Race 2000, flown right to the finish line. Redmond kicks Perman, who became a big country star when a song about the race takes off, and Sharma out of his car. But in his final battle, Coy, a piece of Perman's guitar gets stuck in the gas pedal and he dies in a huge crash. While all this is going on, Zippo's in the lead, so Benny sends out a hitman to off him. Coy put his girl in the car. In that car, he felt it was safer. Actually, it was Zippo who did the drunk driving, and Coy covered for his friend. But a major crash ensues, and Linda is taken to the hospital by Jim and Mary Ann. Gosh, this is confusing.
Hey, kids, slow down. Let it breathe. Advice from your friend Ghostberg.
Terry and Lisa arrive first at the finish line, but Lisa accidentally tells the judges they flew most of the way. The girls in the van get lost and crash, while Coy makes it to the finish line just as he's about to win. He learns Linda's in the hospital and races off to see her. This leaves his brother to be killed by gangster Lester Marks. That's Paul Bartel, who also directed this film. And his men, one of those men, Sylvester Stallone, another mafia character in this, Martin Scorsese. Jim and Marion win the race and $100,000, while Coy gets his racing contract and the girl. And Boutel still delivers the now destroyed Lincoln to its owners. Other actors who show up in this are John Hurstfield, who wrote and directed Escape Plan the Extractors and 2 Days in the Valley, Patrick Wright from Wicked, Caged Heat, and Graduation Day, future directors and at the time Corman assistants editors Alan Arkish and Joe Dante. Corman himself is a district attorney. Jonathan Kaplan, the director of White Line Fever, The Accused, and The Student Teacher. Aaron Kincaid, the voice of the Iron Sheik, and Bobby Heenan on the Hulk Hogan cartoon. Joseph McBride, writer of Rock and Roll High School. Reed Morgan from The Car, John Alderman from New Year's Evil, and super producer Don Simpson, who co-wrote the movie with Paul Bartel. This movie is what happens when everyone worked for Corman at the time all got together so the budget could have extras. Paul Bartel did not enjoy making this film because he felt he was being typecast as an action director, But after it only made $5,000, after spending a year of his life making Death Race 2000, it was the only kind of movie people wanted from him. He said Corman had drummed into me the idea that Death Race 2000 had been harder and more real. It would have been more popular. Like a fool, I believed him. Paul Bartel, not a fan of cars or racing, so loaded the movie with cameos and character gimmicks. His favorite scene was when he plays the piano and sings while two gangsters beat up Dick Miller. The end is pretty rough for a movie that's so funny, so starred David Carradine tried to talk to Bartel about how disturbed he intended it to be. When Joe Bob Briggs did his How Rednecks Save Hollywood show that I saw, he mentioned that this movie is way better than Cannonball Run. As always, Joe Bob was right. Perhaps most amazing about all this is the fact that it was produced by Shaw Brothers. So yes, you can use that as a trivia question. Did Paul Bartel ever work for Shaw Brothers? That brings us to another Cannonball Run movie. Why not? Cannonball Run 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, the popcorn's in the lobby, and the nuts are on the screen. You wanted it, you got it. Cannonball Run 2. And this time, there's no limit. No limit to the lunacy. No limit to the chaos. No limit to the stars. Burt Reynolds, Dom DeLuise. What a team. Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Jamie Farr, Mary Lou Henner, Telly Savalas, and Shirley MacLaine. Susan Anton, Catherine Bach, Buster Brooks, Sid Caesar, Jackie Chan, Tim Conway, Tony Danza, Jack Elam, Richard Keel, Con Knotts, Ricardo Montalban, Jim Neighbors, Charles Nelson Riley, $9 million, Joe Theismann, Mel Tillis, weird, Abe Vigoda, Frank Sinatra. At last comes the motion picture from the greatest book of traffic citations ever written. Cannonball Run 2.
1984. I was 12.
Hello, Ghost of Carolyn D. Fonseca here. Did you hear Sam's Yinzer accent come in hard there? I's 12. Not I was 12. I's 12. Pittsburgh is known for horrible accents and putting French fries on everything. If you get a Pittsburgh salad, it has French fries on the salad. That's why Sam is fat, too. Now back to the show.
This movie's the end of an era. It's the last time the Rat Pack would appear in a movie together, as well as the last movie for Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, and Jim Neighbors. It's also the last car comedy from Burt Reynolds, who made his superstar name with movies like this. Director and writer Hal Needham wouldn't give up so easily. After making Rad and Body Slam, he'd make 4 more Bandit movies with Brian Bloom taking over for Burt. Those are all TV movies. After the events of Cannonball Run, Sheikh Abdul Ben Falafel, Jamie Farr, has angered his father, King Abdul Ben Falafel. Of course, it's Ricardo Montalban. Brought shame to the name Falafel. King Abdul demands he win the next Cannonball. When he's told there won't be one, he orders his son to buy one. Bring back nearly everyone from the original movie. This race is on, even if Don Cannoli wants to kidnap the Sheik after learning he paid for the deaths of Jamie Blake and Morris Fenderbaum, as well as the deaths of the man hunting them down, Jaime Kaplan. My gosh, Don Cannelloni is Charles Nelson Riley, and Jaime Kaplan is Telly Savalas. This movie is everything wonderful about the late 70s, early 80s. These are all Burt's friends in this movie. In addition to Falafel, who's hired away Dr. Nicholas Van Helsing, Jack Elam, and brought his servant to the race. Doug McClure plays his servant. The racers this time are J.J. McClure and Victor Prinzi. Of course, we know who these are. These are Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise dressed as soldiers and driving a Chrysler Imperial limousine. They pick up 2 fake nuns, played by Mary Lou Henner and Shirley MacLaine, as well as Soldier Private Homer Lyle. It's Jim Neighbors playing Gomer Pyle. I mean, it's the same character. Mitsubishi engineer Jackie Chan coming back again, once again playing Japanese, being driven by Arnold, Richard Keel, Jaws, and a Mitsubishi station wagon that can drive underwater, because this is after The Spy Who Loved Me. Jill Rivers and Marcy Thatcher back driving the Lamborghini, but Susan Anton and Catherine Bach take over for Adrian Barbeau and Tara Buckman. I don't know if that's an even trade. Mel and Tony, that's Mel Tillis and Tony Danza, driving a limousine with an orangutan. God, the 80s. So if a movie came out today and it just had all sitcom people in it, there aren't even really sitcoms anymore, just go with me. If it had all sitcom people and they were all in a race and there was an orangutan, people would be enraged. Not so in our time. Anyway, Don Don's enforcers are Sonny, Michael V. Gazzo, Tony, Alex Rocco. If you need an enforcer, get him. Or if you can't get Alex Rocco, get Henry Silva, because he's in it too. And Caesar, also joined us as Sean Weatherly. Their cameos by Foster Brooks, Sid Caesar, and Lewis Nye as fisherman. Tim Conway and Don Knotts as policeman. Molly Picone as Seymour Goldfar's mother. Without Roger Moore, who regretted his decision to turn on a role in this movie after finding out Sinatra was appearing, saying in his book, My Word is My Bond, regrets I've had a few, but too few to mention. Joe Theismann is a trucker. He does not break his leg. Artie Johnson is a German air ace from World War II. George Lindsay, Goober Pyle from Gomer Pyle. American restaurateur Jilly Rizzo, who's named Frank Sinatra would substitute when he sang Mrs. Robinson, so he didn't take the Lord's son's name. Yes, in vain. Western character actor Dub Taylor, monster truck Bigfoot, and yes, Frank Sinatra is Frank Sinatra himself.
Now, when critics walk into a movie, they're always supposed to be optimistic because it's true. You never know when you're going to be pleasantly surprised. That's the theory, at least. But then there are pictures like Cannonball Run 2, which blow that theory to bits. You know it's going to be bad when you walk in, and they turn out to be even worse. For example, this cross-country car race picture didn't even have a cross-country car race in it. It was done in an animated cartoon at the end. What a cheat for all of its fans. And, of course, there were plenty of fights and explosions involving Burt Reynolds and his regular sidekick, his Ed McMahon, Dom DeLuise. Boy, they dragged that scene out, and also it's sort of sick, that little shot where the plane whips around after the bomb goes through the tail. Why would that make the plane start up and spin around like a top?
Because the special effects guys had it all rigged to do that. The problem with a movie like this is you're sitting there watching each special effects gag and realizing that it's just technology. It has nothing to do with a story or with comedy.
You're right. Seeing a guy as a human bomb, if you think about it, can be pretty amazing. At the circus, kids really get excited about that. But here, director Hal Needham makes it just look dull at the end, just like the rest of Cannonball Run 2.
It's a real bad movie, and it's really sad to me what Burt Reynolds is doing with his career. Here's a guy with talent who's been in some good pictures.
Sure.
They talk about how hard it is for a TV star to become a legitimate movie star. He did it. Now he seems to be trying to turn himself back into a TV star again.
Right.
The level of intelligence in a movie like this is barely good enough to sustain just filler on television. To expect anyone to spend $5 for this garbage is amazing.
And when people go after critics like us for knocking a big star like Burt Reynolds, they always say, yeah, but people love him. Well, I got news for you. In Stroke or Ace, a horrible film he made, and in Cannonball Run 2, people did not love him. His fans did not go to see this film. They knew it was a skunk from the word go, and the films were absolute bombs. So, for his own fans, I ask him to try and do something different.
It's too bad Woody Allen already took the perfect title for Burt Reynolds. Take the money and run.
What the I love Roger Ebert, but no. Speaking of this, Bigfoot is not the only movie Bigfoot was in. Bigfoot also appears in Take This Job and Shove It, Police Academy 2, Their First Assignment, Roadhouse, Police Academy 6, City Under Siege, You Had to Come Back, Tango and Cash, of course, Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle, and the only movie on this list I haven't watched, Ready Player One, and that brings us to 1989's, also called Cannonball 3, and Cannonball Fever here in the U.S. was called Speed Zone.
Getting from coast to coast has never been easy. But Americans have the kind of driving ambition to meet the challenge and live by the rules of the road. No tailgating. No littering.
My car.
No tipping.
You can be so cool.
Why, thank you.
No concealed weapons. No invisible weapons.
The new stealth model.
No obvious weapons. No spitting, barking, skipping, or jumping.
That feels good.
No pit stops. No mercy.
Help!
No, wait a minute.
What?
On this road, there are no rules. Cannonball Fever.
So long, suckers!
Peter Boyle, Eugene Levy, Donna Dixon,
Hello.
John Candy,
Hello.
the Smothers Brothers, Joe Flaherty, Sherry Belafonte.
Aren't you?
Brooke Shields.
I got goosebumps.
Cannonball Fever.
It was directed by Jim Drake, who also made God, it's all about Police Academy, isn't it? Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol, written by Martin Short's brother Michael, who worked with SCTV Cast, and the Ed Grimley cartoon and Schitt's Creek. This movie was hated even more by Siskel and Ebert.
Its original title was Cannonball Run 3, but Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise are missing from the racing crew this time. Little matter, it's still an atrocious excuse for entertainment. You know the formula, a bunch of middling actors humiliate themselves in cameo roles as they compete for a cross-country road race in some nice cars.
I drive alone, that's the deal. I don't want some goof sitting next to me all the way to California, throwing my timing right off.
Ah, there she is.
She who?
Your passenger, Tiffany.
Tiffany? Mind you, another person in the car would be company.
The dialogue is less than thrilling. Witness this interchange between Matt Frewer and Joe Flaherty.
You better know what you're doing. I know what I'm doing, Victor. Leave me alone. Let me concentrate. Somebody got up on the wrong side of bed this morning. Shut up!
How witty. The would-be comedy is at its most depressing with this self-mocking bit between Flight Attendant Brooke Shields and the Smothers Brothers.
Oh, Brooks. It's Brooke, lady. Not Brooks. Brooke. There is only one of me.
Brooke Shields. That's Brooke Shields. Brooke. Yeah. Well, don't mind me asking, but why, your work, what do you,
After 4 years of Princeton, my professor suggested I seek higher goals. So I figured, what better place? To keep my face in the public. And besides, I don't want to spend the rest of my life doing bit parts in movies.
Oh, it's not that bad. It sounds good to me. Yeah.
I don't think that joke gets them off the hook. In fact, I think they're just cinematic hookers there, working for a probably inflated salary for a couple of days and just phoning the performance in. I liked looking at a few of the cars, but anything involving human beings in Speed Zone was dismal. If I have a pet peeve about movies, it's the ones that are so venal they don't even try to be good. That's Speed Zone.
What I would have done before I made this movie, in fact, I wouldn't have made this movie. That's what I would have done. I would have taken everyone who was working on the screenplay and who was working on the production and working on the direction, and I would have chained them to a theater seat. And I would have put all kinds of little meters all over their body, and I would have forced them to look at Cannonball Run Part 1 and Cannonball Run Part 2. Mm-hmm. And then I wouldn't have allowed them to use anything in this movie that they didn't laugh at in the first two movies. Now, since the first two movies have no laughs at all whatsoever, they would have quickly realized that there were also no laughs in this movie. Not one.
Not one.
I sat there in a room full of people and I listened, and nobody laughed even one time for 95 minutes because this movie is not funny.
Yes. Other than that, Mr. Lincoln, how'd you enjoy the play? It's shameful. You feel there, and I felt depressed. Really depressed at the movies, depressed that I had to be there. I already tried. Well, I already had one film earlier this month that made me want to quit my job.
That Brooke Shields and Smothers Brothers.
That's sad.
Now, wait a minute. The Smothers Brothers are clever people. They might have been able to come up with something which broke the reality, in which they pulled their paychecks out and endorsed them and put them in the mail deposit envelopes or something and developed the fact that they were only in the movie for money. In fact, you could probably make a top secret or airplane type movie about a cannonball movie in which everybody is playing a middling actor, as you put it, selling out for cash. Right. And you can make a satire on that, but this movie is pathetic.
No, it's not
this
satire.
Movie is to be ashamed of.
I agree. I'm sorry I had to see it. Coming up next, Jeff Daniels is convinced he's going to die in a comedy called Checking Out.
Hard to disagree. I love you, Roger RP, but, who's in this race? Well, there's a BMW, and that's got parking valet Charlie Cronin racing for his school rival Leo Ross, who sends his girlfriend Tiffany along for the ride. And those folks, John Candy is the hero, Eugene Levy is his enemy, and Donna Dixon as the potential girl. The Jaguar is mob hitman Victor Rubis, that's Pittsburgh's own Joe Flaherty, and compulsive Gavner Alex Stewart, Matt Frewer, Max Headroom. Let's put Max Headroom and Count Floyd in the same car. Vic actually got the deal to shoot Alex, but found out about this race and said, let's make some money. The Ferrari Daytona Spider are driven by Melody Anderson and Sherry Belfonte. Oh my gosh. They're MIT students, and they want to solve this puzzle. The Lamborghini is Valentina Rosati, Brian George, not Italian, he's Israeli English. Former cop Flash, that's Art Hindle from Black Christmas. The Bentley, that's Nelson and Randolph Van Sloan, the Smothers Brothers, who decided to fly to the finish line. Did they not see Cannonball? We just talked about Cannonball 2 minutes ago. We, but you and me. You and I have just talked about Cannonball. TV news reporters are played by Mimi Kazik and Tim Matheson. They're all being chased by Police Chief Spiro T. Edsel, Peter Boyle, and Whitman Don Lake from Police Academy, who've already arrested one entire race worth of contestants. This movie's got some great cameos. Brooke Shields, who got hit by the shrapnel, and got a Golden Raspberry Award for a brief moment in this. Alyssa Milano, Carl Lewis, Richard Petty, Michael Spinks, John Schneider, pretty much a Duke boy in the beginning of the movie. Lee Van Cleef, in one of his last roles, he's all over the European posters, as he should be. And Jamie Farr, who appears as Sheikh Abdul Ben Falafel, make him the only actor to be in all 3 of the Cannonball Run movies, seeing as how this has never been released either on DVD or Blu-ray. Kino Lorber, what are you doing? This is a Kino Lorber movie, if I've ever seen it. You can watch it on YouTube. I don't feel bad telling you that. How do you feel about Cannonball Run movies? Why don't you let me know, huh?
To get in touch with Sam or any of the many ghosts on this show, write to b&saboutmovies@gmail.com. Have a movie you want Sam to talk about? That's a good place to send him your idea. You can also donate via Ko-Fi, and the link is in the show notes.